Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and folk of all ages, you know what time it is. And I can't believe it, we're already a month into the new year. But it's that time to go over the holidays and heroes for the month of February. Alrighty, so of course on the 9th of the month we have the Day of Remembrance for Eyvind Kinnrifi. And we'll follow that up on February 17th with Charming of the Plow. So let's get right down to it and learn a little bit about the days of remembrance and holidays of our people. As I said, on February 9th, the Asatru Folk Assembly celebrates a day of remembrance for Eyvind Kinnrifi. Near to what could be considered the beginning of the Christian conversion of Norway, under King Olaf Tryggvason, there was a farmer of noble stock who stood against the king in his attempts at conversion. Eyvind Kinnrifi was called to make plans against the upcoming invasion by his friend Herrick of Thliota, who had very recently returned after himself refusing conversion to Christianity. Eyvind answered the call, and for the sake of haste, he travelled with only a small retinue of men. He was well welcomed by Herrick, but shortly after his arrival, Eyvind was ambushed. Unbeknownst to Herrick, he had been followed by some of Olaf Tryggvason's men. They forced Eyvind to Trondheim, where Olaf attempted to convert Eyvind, first with offers of land and gold, then with threats of torture and death. Unwilling to turn his back on his faith, Eyvind was eventually killed. So what can we learn from this story? On the 9th of February, as we stop to remember Eyvind Kinnrifi and his unwavering faith despite the consequences, take a moment to consider what in your own life is important to you. Have there ever been times in which you had to choose between keeping your faith and losing something else? A job, a friend, family? Even in these times when we are living with unparalleled freedom of choice, it can be difficult to choose faith over all else. It is sometimes easier to hide behind the idea of a pseudonym, or to keep your faith hidden from those in our lives that shouldn't matter. Remember, when you think of Eyvind, what truly matters. Stand strong with and take pride in your folk. Hail, Eyvind Kinnrifi. Following the Day of Remembrance, we have, of course, our holiday, and it falls on February 17th, with Charming of the Plow. Charming of the Plow is a ritual that takes place at the early beginning of the planting season. As the name implies, the plow or other tools used are blessed and offerings are made to the gods for a productive growing season. Traditionally, after blessing the plow, a ceremonial furrow was dug and then filled with cakes or other offerings. For our ancestors, this was a crucial time of the year. Poor preparation often led to a poor harvest, and a poor harvest led to starvation. Asatru is the modern celebration of our ancestral heritage. Charming of the Plow symbolizes our willful penetration of the unyielding soil. It is with our own industriousness, our own will, that we create, that we change, that we provide. In the Asatru Folk Assembly, we often celebrate the Charming of the Plow by planting a tree. Inflict your will on the world. As an Asatru, this is a time to charm the implements of your own productivity. Entreating the divine to bless your tools and your plans for the year is essential to starting things off right. Inviting the divine into our plans and intentions is a great way of making us aware of the sacrality that should be part of all you do. The AFA encourages all Asatru to be industrious in all that we do. Dream grand dreams. Make solid plans. Do big things. And after hard work, reap a bountiful harvest. And what can you do to celebrate Charming of the Plow? Though most of us do not rely on growing our own food to survive, now is a good time to consider starting a small garden, or even just growing some herbs on the patio. Make a plan. Choose a small patch of yard and map off your gardening beds. Press the shovels and spades. Dig up the soil and begin fertilizing it with eggshells and coffee grinds. Prepare. If you cannot plant a small garden, begin planning some project. Sew a quilt. Build a chair. Take an idea and make a plan, and then put that plan into action. Inflict your will on the world. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming and listening as we learned a little bit about the Day of Remembrance and holiday for the month of February. Of course, we'll be right back at it next month with more information about that holiday and Day of Remembrance. But if you need anything else, reach out to your nearest folk builder and we'll get you some information. Reach out to a Gothi, a Gothar. And have a good week. Have a good month. Have a good year.